point with your wind walls. If you think that you're blocking one of the Gragas ultimates and you mess it up a little bit, your team will get destroyed because they'll be caught off guard. They think that you're going to be blocking on it, and they rely on you blocking it. If you don't, then the entire team fight will fall apart.
It'll be sad pants for you guys. So it's going to be the pickup of Sivir and Thresh here for XDG's bottom lane there. Only Annie really dropped away from that lineup, and they say this is what's important to us here. Sivir is a little bit unsafe, but Thresh can make her a bunch safer, and this team has some great engage potential now.
Yeah. Sivir does have a couple bad lane matchups, though, and those are all available to Dignitas. So XDG are kind of daring PewDiePie to, again, venture away from Jinx, pick up a Caitlyn or something like that, pick up a Draven. He actually won his game that he played on Draven, and I would love to see PewDiePie back on Draven. It's a great champion for him.
I remember when Cloud9 played Draven into Sivir, they said, well, we couldn't actually play as aggressively as we wanted because we never got eyes on the enemy jungler, and because of that, they couldn't actually bully the Sivir out of lane, and Doublelift got a free Sivir lane there. And I'm wondering how well Crumbs can stay in the fog of war and say, well, if you aggress, I'll find you.
So that you have to kind of add up all the lane matchups in the game and then factor in what type of jungle your enemy has. If all of your lanes are going to be lanes that are technically supposed to win and supposed to be pushing, then I like going for that strategy no matter what the enemy jungler is. Because you can have your jungler counter gank, and in any of those situations, you'll come out ahead because your lane should be the stronger lane early. So it really depends how many winning lanes they choose if they decide to go with that strategy of bully lanes in the early phase.
And we'll see what gets grabbed. Kiwi Kid locks in Leona for himself with Thresh and Annie off the table. Goes for the Solar Knight. That's going to be fine. Jungle Wukong coming in here for Nick Wu. Mid Lulu going to make her entrance back into the stage as well. Scara wanted Gragas, but that's fine. PewDiePie going to go for Lucian again. I still don't think he's winning the games in Lucian, but apparently week 6 they're going to try to break that streak.
Yeah, he's pretty much saying that he does not care about the statistics. Everybody who's given him flack for going back to that champion doesn't know what they're talking about.
Nope.
It's a great kill potential with Leona, so they do have a lot of offensive capabilities in that bottom lane. The only thing is, I'm not quite sure what top lane will be for XCG with this matchup because they've already got 2 knockups with Wukong and Lulu. Wow, and they're just immediately rocking Renekton.
Okay.
Versus the Trundle. I mean, that's why I was saying I didn't know what was going to be played top because Benny traditionally he's been playing so many tanks and he's always loved these tanks. But going against Trundle, we've seen so many people opt with other options because they don't want to play into that late game ultimate. Renekton, though, he has to make something happen early against Trundle because in the late game, he'll just get shredded by that ult.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking at the lineup as well, and it feels like XGG's late game damage is not exceptionally high. Renekton's a champion that tends to fall off. Wukong only builds so much damage. Then you're kind of relying on just Sivir to kind of carry the game through, whereas you've got Renekton getting tankier, or not, sorry, not Renekton, but Trundle getting tankier and tankier, siphoning off stats and everything.
They have ridiculous speed, so that's for sure. They can make very quick map movements if they don't even actually have to take the fights. If they move around and collect a huge gold lead from a lot of turrets, from just positioning values there from XCG, you know, with Lulu and Sivir, that's pretty much the biggest speed boost in the game right now, and they might be able to outplay them just purely objective-wise.
That'll be fun to watch. We'll see if XG can make that one happen. The game's about to get underway, so let's see who you guys think is going to end the week with a victory. According to LLEsports.com, 88% of you think that Dignitas are going to snap that losing streak and end this week with a win.
I think definitely at least one of those voters already tweeted in. Odie definitely looking for a win for his team to get back on track. But the same thing is absolutely true for XCG management. They want something to back up all the changes that they've made.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can do it, of course. It's going to be, right, it's a jungle Nick Wukong, which I just realized is great because it's Nick Wukong. So that's in there. I'm going to say that probably 5 more times during the game. But less of his strong early game jungler. I feel like his pre-6 ganks, not the scariest, and that gives options for Dignitas to push in a lot of their lanes.
Yeah, he's one of those junglers that just brings damage to his early ganks. Before hitting 6, he does not have any CC, but he brings a lot of damage. It's a substantial amount of damage coming from an early Wukong gank. He definitely needs his lane that he's ganking, though, to set it up for him, because he won't have any CC of his own, just the red buff slow.
Let's see what he brings. Doran's rings for the mid lanes. Actually, every single lane. Mirrored builds every single lane, so that'll be fun to watch. We'll see who diverges from that first. I've seen Tiamat on Toronto before. Seen it on Renekton. Maybe we'll see that one go through. Older Lizard maybe for both junglers. Athene's first for both mids. We can see them continue to go down the same lines.
Yeah. ManCloud's cracking himself up over there.
Well, I mean, Lulu's just so jovial.
Thinks it's hilarious.
It is.
This is the first time we haven't seen top laners exchanging blows up there.
No cleavers.
They have to get really, really close and personal.
Yeah, they all have to be in, well, I guess aside from Trundle ulti, they have to be in melee range to deal any damage. They're like, you know what? You smell too bad. I'm going to stay in this brush over here. Just be safe.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Jungler's close. Ooh. Nothing's going to happen.
Ooh, doesn't get it.
Wasted cooldown. Dun,
kind
dun,
of.
dun. Now, that's interesting, starting off with that E. A lot of junglers like to start with the W for the extra percentage damage and attack speed, but you do get a shield with any ability for Vi, so starting with that E, take a little bit less damage.
Here we go. Auto attack E. The damage coming through pretty securely for Crumbs. He's going to get his blue buff before too much trouble comes through. Nuku starting out as red with a very, very small gank from Benny. So a bit of damage onto the Wukong, but I think these guys are going to clear their own jungles fairly safely without much invasion early on.
I want to point out also the early trinket ward down at the red buff on Dignitas. XDG snuck in there and got some vision down that we don't see a lot now that everyone's relying on trinket wards. They will know if Nick Wu is, or if Crumbs is deciding to go with the regular route of getting a small camp before getting your double buff, or if he rushes to get both buffs as quickly as possible. Now that they've seen him be delayed to that camp, they know he's going for that level 3 on double buff.
Well, Zuna still level 1, harassing around in the duo lane for now. We'll see how the junglers... Okay, good dodge. We'll see where the junglers go pretty soon. More skill shots getting dodged. Nick Wu going to hit level 3, out of mana, but he'll be alright. Crum's actually being a little bit slower on the jungle path, but we'll see the Vi roaming around the halls before too long. Smites it away. And Wukong, nope, still just going to farm the jungle for now. He's going for this white. Alright, these guys are pretty safe in this one. The mid lane also holding an advantage for ManCloud, actually. Skara not getting many of these minions early on, getting pushed around. 8 minion lead so far with 4 minions in the map in that lane.
Yeah, Lulu definitely doing a good job pushing him around. ManCloud was able to get the second pick there. And as we said, this is pretty much one of the main reasons why Lulu is so popular right now. We'll have to see what ManCloud can actually do with this lead, though, because he hasn't been able to transition very well in many of the games into the mid game.
The random interaction that I like with the mid lane matchup, if Skara went 9 points defense, the master that reduces damage from champions works exceptionally well against picks, because it'll work for the auto attack and all 3 picks hits. You'll basically take 0 damage from her passive at level 1.
Yeah, it's a great mastery to pick up versus Lulu. I like how the miss Zenith blade from Kiwi Kid, he was not punished for that at all because Zuna was already expecting to counter it with the play.
Ooh, good play.
Like
not
that.
In range for the stun. He got it early enough that Kiwi Kid did not land Shield of Daybreak there. That was awesome.
So Zuna's showing early that he does have the mechanics, but Benny definitely in a tough spot.
All right, Ballbreaker lands Benny. 2 dashes. Flash in from Cruiser.
Oh, he's already burning, though.
First blood picked up there. Nicely done. Dignitas 1-0 early on.
Great gank there from Crumbs. I mean, we talked about, is he going to turn around that top lane and have the opposite happen this game? Yes, he is. No ward there, and he was able to make it happen.
Goes for the stun on Azuna. Not too much follow-up, though, Cutie Pie. Leaving Kiwi Kid alone. It's unfortunate, but all right. Bottom lane going pretty equally. 28 minions on each, so yes, pretty equally. Guys trading none of their health potions either. Skara going in on the ManCloud, but they're just trading blows.
I mean, Lulu just has so much range on Gragas. It's very, very hard early for Skara to capitalize on that CS. But Crumbs comes in to even up the match.
And it's going to be the flash from Mandatory Cloud to get himself out of that one. Did not want to get comboed out, but you're seeing Crumbs have way more impact so far than Nick Wu.
Yeah, great job by him. Able to land the first couple Vault Breakers. Getting his solo lanes the early lead and letting the bottom lane do work for itself, because we talked about how much threat that Leona Lucian has. They don't really need help to go for those aggressive moves, as we've seen repeatedly started off by Kiwi Kid.
So we look now towards his top lane. Benny only got a Doran's Blade and a Doran's Shield off of the recall. A full Giant's Belt, though, for Cruiser. So a bit of a stat disadvantage here, but Benny's still trying to fight anyway. Having to try to sustain up in this lane, but I feel like if we see him come in again, there's no flash for Benny. It's going to be a rough top for him.
Yeah, already, since the kill credit did go to Cruiser, it's going to really turn around that lane matchup that usually goes a bit in favor of Renekton early and give him a great leg up on this. So I want to see where Nick Wu actually decides to go, because he's nearing level 6, and all of his lanes really do need some help. Even though ManCloud was doing great early, he had to blow his flash from that gank. So he is down the summoner spell, and Gragas as well was able to use that time to catch right back up in CS. So Scar's feeling fine, and he has the flash advantage on ManCloud now.
So equal items in the mid lane so far. Junglers as well, just Boots different. Crumb's getting the assist, helping him get that one here. So far, so good for everybody. Dual lane holding standard. The gold lead's still exactly 600, which is what you get for a
level
first blood.
6 here, hit by Crumbs, and they're already pinging out the flashless ManCloud. It's dangerous, though, because Lulu does have an ult up for herself. You have to factor that into the amount of damage that you think is going to come through. All
right, Crumbs flashes, lands the ulti. ManCloud ults himself, doesn't get much for it. Knocked way back in by Skara. Do they have enough, though? 500 health left on ManCloud. He gets out, getting Crumbs low. Skara goes back in 200 HP.
Yeah, you use everything to close that distance from Crumbs, and you don't have much damage left when you get there. Vi relies so much on her Vault Breaker for the damage to actually hit. If he just goes in with the ultimate, it doesn't have too much to follow up. But it was a great ulti there from Skara, knocking him back when they had the positioning.
Fighting the bottom lane. They're going to be okay with this one. I just want to kind of note 416 health is what ManCloud got from the E and the R there, and he ended with about 200. So you can see just how much durability can matter sometimes in those gank situations. Unable to dodge the Q there.
He did get harassment down really low, though, so forcing him back at least with all of those resources that were spent in the mid lane.
Yep. We'll see if Crumbs can do anything with ulti number 2. Halfway until the next cooldown. Nick Wu now, the only jungler with an ultimate. Level 6 on Wukong, holding the mid lane for now, though, as he waits for ManCloud to get back into his own lane. But now I want to see what this guy can do. He was the best performing member of XDG in their prior game. The new addition to the roster as well, replacing Zuna, who replacing Smithy in the jungle.
I think that he should try and take advantage of the aggro bottom lane from Dignitas. Wukong doesn't even have to go for a gank around the river or anything. He can just come in for a lane gank. Take a lantern from Zuna, come right in. As long as he can get at least one person knocked up there with his ulti, then it should be pretty easy to capitalize. Zuna right there was hooking a minion, but if he's able to land one onto either champion, then it should be a pretty easy combo.
It's okay, you hit a minion, you still get the 3 seconds off the cooldown, so just try again later. It's better to hit a minion than to miss entirely. So, he's just still up his hit percentage. Do minions count hit percentage for skill shots?
No.
Okay. That's unfortunate. So Zuna lower hit percentage than he would like. ManCloud, though, hits the minions with the Glitter Lance. I count that one.
Yeah.
Because you're hitting minions anyway.
That's getting CS. As long as you get the kill, then it's fine. Whatever you hook, as long as you get the kill, it'll up your percentage.
So you last hit with the Thresh Hook. Well, Zuna, you were an 80 carry. You should know how to last hit these ones. Also, deep utility for the Thresh, getting the 1 gold per minion around. I just like kind of tracking that, because I'm curious to know what kind of builds the pros use. So I can steal them.
Here comes Crumbs. He's ganking bottom.
Stun lands onto Zuna. Ulti comes by as well, and that's going to be a kill. Box comes out and just doesn't even matter. Style points, cooling kills off the minion waves. And Cutie Pie, not going to taste much else, but Nick Wu looks for the mid lane. No slow on Skara.
But he's already too late here. Crumb's always making the first move in this matchup between junglers, and Nick Wu's kind of left just holding lanes that have already been ganked or looking to try and pick something up. Smithy!
And he's flashing. He's running. He's stunned. Cutie Pie.
Nick Wu's coming in from the back, though. Can he answer? He finally needs to get something going here. Cutie Pie does have his flash and his barrier.
That's a Crumbs.
Oh, no.
Oh, the E still hit. Forces the flash. Vault Breaker hits. Shield blocks a turret shot. You know, I got to say, Crumbs has 100% hit rate on his ultimates.
Yeah, Crumbs is doing a really good job with that Vi. Pretty much every single Vi guaranteed to have 100% hit rate on their ulti unless they're killed in the act.
You go for like a Fizz.
That's true.
Zonias, things like that. But so far, he's hit 3 ultis. Two of them, sorry, I should say 2 of his 3 ganks have really resulted in kills, so I gotta say,
again,
that's
though,
a pretty good record.
Look at this, XDG, they are not giving up on this objective. They want to make something happen out of all that disaster that happened down bottom, all the carnage. They want to salvage something. It's going to be the Dragon for them. 2 pink wards spent for this one, but they will secure it.
Well, the one that's in the river is held up for a while. They got that one a few minutes ago. It's going to be the Dragon going. So XDG within 1,000 gold now. That's a well-played engagement there. But Skara roams to the top lane.
Benny senses something, though, because the early ult, and he flashes. Very good flash from Benny.
Flash keeps him safe. Barrel still lands from Skara.
He's not out of the woods yet, though.
Crumbs is here. Uh-oh, no ulti just yet, but has a red buff. There's a slow. There's the Vault Breaker. Breaks the armor. Skara nearby. Barrel lands. That's a kill picked up. 4-0 Dignitas.
Not out of the woods yet. I always thought that it should be called a forest instead of a jungle, just because look at the trees. They don't look very tropical.
Do jungles have to be tropical?
No, but you always kind of get that sense, don't you?
Yeah, there's like vines and monkeys and stuff.
Look at this roam from Mancloud, though. He wants to answer Skara's roam up top, and the pings from both sides. Dignitas are very much aware of this, and they're using the calling just to clear that wave out quickly, stop that roam from Mancloud in its tracks.
And you're seeing a bit of an item lead here for Dignitas' duo lane. Because of that kill credits, 2 kills, by the way, going towards Cutie Pie, so he got the best deal in those ganks at all. Completely.
Kiwi Kid walks through the ward and lands the hook.
Hook rate goes up. Doesn't turn into a kill, but that's okay.
Kiwi Kid immediately puts the shield up. Okay, here's the gank bottom for Nick Wu. This time around, he does have his ulti up, and he's the first one into position, but Crumbs is already bottom side as well. If Crumbs counter ganks this, they will decimate XGG.
That's going to be unhappy. And there's a ward in the brush anyway, and I'm not sure if XGG knows about it. I think they do because of how far back Nick Wu is playing. I just don't see him getting into this lane successfully. We have not seen a single Cyclone come out in 12.5 minutes so far. We just haven't seen anything work for these guys. They've been getting picked on, and they were going to try again. Smithy pops the ulti. They just trade.
All right, so he gets at least the reaction ulti out of there from Smithy. Having his
playing the long con.
I think, yeah, Kiwi Kid, though, learned something right there with the spell shield. Smithy's got pretty quick reactions.
And they put him in AD carry because of his mechanics. Certainly worked there, but just gets the recall. The cooldown actually is shorter for Solar Flare than for On the Hunt. So there's a small window of like one-sided ultis there in the lane. Top lane is going to be the red buff started up Benny and Nick Wu going for this one. I can see it going to Benny.
I like how they're bringing in Crumbs anyway. Even though they know they force back Sivir, they're just going for tower damage, trying to take advantage of the missed man here. So objective focus for Dignitas, even after so many kills from Crumbs. Another great call from him, grabbing the early turret.
Nicely done. They're going to get that one. Crumbs happy to get the kill credit on that one. Putting himself in the limelight there. 0-0 and 3. 3 of his team's 4 kills. Nick Wu starting up on the blue buff for his teammates. But he's unfortunately doing nothing but clearing the jungle. And even at that, you're seeing 69-47. Honestly getting well outplayed by Crumbs so far.
Yeah, Crumbs doing a pretty good job, as we've been over so many times. But the rest of Dig doing pretty well in their lanes too. I mean, Cruiser has worked well with the early gank, and he's right up there with Renekton. So it's done wonders for him. He got some nice roam from Skara as well to add another kill onto Benny. And pretty much all of XDG have been having to react to Dignitas' plays. They haven't been able to start off any plays of their own. They never have the initiative. It's always Dig making the first move.
Yeah, they're not rolling high in that D20. Initiative scores low for these guys. Smithy just going to sit here and freeze a lane and get himself some gold back in this one. Only a Bloodthirster done. Cutie Pie picked up a Brutalizer of all things. So, Caster Illusion coming through a little bit. Want to see if that pans out well. If we just bought it because he's like, I'm ahead. Whatever, I'll just spend 1,300 gold. It's interesting, though.
It is a very interesting build from an interesting guy. I like the pick. We'll see how it works out here. It's great against people who aren't building armor because it's flat penetration, but Renekton's already built some armor, and Wukong gets armor from his passive.
Yeah.
I have to see how that one plays out in the end game here. Cutie Pie's burst, though, does get a small burst, small increase right now. At this point in the game, it's a great buy because a lot of power for his combo.
See if it pans out. Zuna taking some more barrels. These guys from Dignitas happy to poke around to the mid lane. Benny sitting on top of a friendly ward. Waits around for the dive. Doesn't find it. Has to go back to the top lane now. Dignitas have already killed 2 outer turrets. That's top and bottom lane. The mid lane siege we saw before.
All right, so the Dragon's not up, so probably won't actually be a fight. But I've got now a theory on this Brutalizer build.
Okay.
Because he's working with Vi and Trundle, who both shred armor, percentage shreds, flat penetration, even more effective.
True.
Because it applies after percentage shreds.
Yeah.
So he's getting an extra bonus out of this Brutalizer.
Sure. Even Vi's getting a Brutalizer.
This game, so
Dignitas is brutalizing this game in general. I want to see it on Cruiser now. Maybe Kiwi Kid will buy one.
Cruiser the Brutalizer.
Yeah.
Look at all the focus mid lane, though. They want to chain the last outer turret. Dignitas doing a good job of rotating over, taking advantage of ManCloud not being in lane, while Nick Wu spends his time bottom. Again, he's really trying to force something happening down here, and it's going to have to be a dive if they want to answer at all.
Well, minions dropping more and more. 2 versus 3 in the lane, and XDG just not even going for this one. A lot of help drop down. Realize making it happen. There's the ulti, lands on a Nick Wu, ignite as well. That's going to be a kill pick. Oh, the shield still goes down. Kiwi Kid with the kill credit, and ManCloud in a bad spot, trying to run away. Skara picking that one up. 2 more kills on the map for Dignitas. They are crushing this game.
Nick Wu having a really hard time this game. I still have not seen a Cyclone.
Nope.
He died too quickly. And, you know, that's just pretty much all Dignitas this entire game here. 6-0 tells the story. Massive gold lead. Massive control over the map.
Zuna trying to hold off Skara. Does keep the turret alive. So that was a good matchup. That one worked. Top lane, though, getting worse and worse, though. Benny picked the Renekton into Trundle, not having a good time, and ManCloud gets jumped on. This is the replay.
All right, so Crumb's able to get him into position. They got a good amount of damage down, and then he goes back in for another Vault Breaker. ManCloud a little bit too close there.
Yeah, not the best idea. So Benny, again, he knew he was going to be fighting Cruiser's Trundle. Said, yep, I'll play Renekton. It'll be fine. I'll win the lane. But the ganks from Crumbs seem to make that not the case here.
Yeah, Crumbs and Scar both lended a helping hand up top.
True.
You know, the whole team, as we said before, seems to be, they've worked on their communication, definitely, and they're all working in unison here. Pretty much have a stranglehold on this game right now. They can easily shore up this entire jungle with wards and just strangle XDG right now, starve them out of the game.
Yeah, so let's see where they go with for the next little bit here. Dignitas are poised for a perfect game. 0 kills, 0 turrets. I don't believe I've seen one this split so far, where the other team doesn't get any objectives.
A perfect game? You already calling for a perfect game here?
Hey, man.
No deaths.
The earlier
no
you
turrets.
call it, the more credit you get for it.
Well, it's already 6-0, 18 minutes in with a massive gold lead.
Yeah. Someone on Twitter's going to be like, well, I called that yesterday. And I'll be like, all right, well, I guess you win then. I'll give you a high 5 if I ever see you. Because that's how we bet things in League of Legends. By the way, you owe me a high 10 from the last one. But ManCloud gets a big high 5 from Crumbs, trying to run away. Good Glitterless does not land on the jungler, though. But here comes Nick Wu. Cyclone! Yay! He gets one! And Crumbs forced away, and it's going to be actually the survival from ManCloud. Now, Nick Wu, though, not the happiest monkey. Flashes, good flash actually gets him away. That was a sick Glitterlance, too. He nearly got them both. Like, that ManCloud Glitterlance to get one to shoot 2 directions is freaking hard. And they both aimed at enemy champions.
Sick story, bro.
If that was on purpose, that was really, really good.
All right, well, now they're pushing back up the mid lane here. XDG, they have to make a stand somewhere. It needs to be at a turret, though, because they need every helping hand that they can get to win any sort of team fight. They don't have a lot of pick potential. As we said, they have a massive amount of speed, but they don't really have anyone to hold you in place once they catch you. Nick Wu is so squishy that if he goes in for the Cyclone, as we saw there, they could just turn on him and take him down very quickly. He's building all offense in a game that they're super far behind in.
Well, he was only squishy because he was fighting 2 enemy champions. He was fighting a 2v5. He'd have way more armor and MR, and he wouldn't take any damage.
Each additional champion will add a little bit more armor and magic resist, but he doesn't have any health to sort of back up those defense stats.
True. ManCloud can try to help with the ulti and shields, but I feel like he's still not going to be tanky enough here, Nick Wu. We'll see if he can scale up throughout the game. ManCloud looking for a little play onto Skara. Does not quite land that one. Skara ultis almost knocks him in.
Skara dodges the glitter lances and then lands his own skill shot there, ensuring that ManCloud does not get the better of the trade. And they retain control of the top side. Benny recalling, they might be able to get a lot of damage on that secondary turret.
Oh, man, they're going to get damage on the Benny at the very least. Chomp down. Cruiser biting him down to size. That's a kill picked up. 7-0, 20 minutes in. Nick Wu on defense, but he's alone.
Yeah. You know, he can defend against minions, but that's about it right now. He has to worry about getting dove as well. I mean, even with ultimates down, this game is looking really bad for XDG. quite brutal here.
Yeah. So speaking of being brutal, I'm a QtPie upgraded to Youmu's Ghostblade. Now, it's an item I'm seeing picked up more and more, actually. It's good on Draven, but it gives him 20% movement speed, 40% attack speed, and 20 flat armor pen.
Yeah, that's the key right there. It increases the flat armor pen, so it goes along with our earlier theory about the early buy. Plus, he doesn't have boots, so he needs some sort of move speed. And even though it will only last a short duration,
4 seconds, which is about how long the ulti lasts.
That's all he needs.
It's enough to. It basically ensures that he can move around very well during the culling.
Well, here it is. XDG making their move. They want to make something happen.
This Glitter Lance lands on a QtPie and they see him. Now, can they chase down the hook over the wall? Good dodge by QtPie. Youmu's not even used. Uses it late. Goes down. Kill picked up. No perfect game. I'm wrong. But Dig gonna push mid.
So he used the Youmu's there. It gave him 4 seconds, and he didn't last longer than 4 seconds, so boots wouldn't have made a difference.
No. That was unfortunate.
Correct call. Now he's got boots, though.
All right. Runs a little bit faster. Zerg Greaves there. More attack speed. Dig on the run. Good dodge by Crumbs.
Benny finds 2, though. He might be able to keep them here long enough.
So he gets ulted in by Cruiser. Knocked around as well. The team is still trying to show up. He jumps over the wall, Benny. It's going to be enough for him to get away from this one, but now the chase is still going towards Dignitas. ManCloud, NickWoo, and the rest of the crew are still going.
He jumped far. I think it flashed. He jumped out. After the burst had already come, though. Got to pay attention to the cooldowns of the enemies, and if you can reliably know that they don't have more damage coming, then you can stay in there that split second to allow the rest of your team to follow up. But they got 1 pick, and we talked about how much move speed this XDG team have. They were able to pick up QtPie, even though he's on Lucian and he's got the Ghost.
Yep. So we'll see what these guys do with this one now. QtPie getting scarier and scarier. Smithy trying to get towards the static shaves, pretty far away from that one. Just for the guys who don't know the mid Lulus, they max Q then E. So ManCloud right now sitting on rank 1 Whimsy. That's the haste and hex ability. He's got big shields now and pretty good damage output. Scar going to keep the push going forward. Gragas, by the way, are maxing W, the Drunken Rage.
Yeah.
So that's second.
A lot of people favor that one over the Body Slam. Similar damage, but upgrades everything else. You know, I have to keep going back to the Ghostblade because that's probably the most interesting thing right now.
It's spooky.
If you activate it right before you use your culling, then you'll get a lot more shots out of it. So it's a nice little culling-specific boost that he can get right before he uses it.
Did you know that does not work with sort of the Divine? Just specific. It's a specific special case because it would be too good in that instance.
Because it's 100%.
Yeah, for 3 seconds, it's like, oh, I just want to press this and press R. And it's like, well.
So he could take advantage of the Brutalizer, though. That's a pretty.
Yeah, he does it with Youmu's.
Yeah, that's a nice little boost that he can get. More effective culling is always a great thing to go for. But Dignitas already looking at that 10K gold lead here at 23 minutes. They pretty much have all the options open to them, and I would like to see them stay focused because, yes, you guys have a commanding lead here, but something they need to work on is ending games. And even in games where you're super far ahead, you need to have the same focus and the same discipline to continually make the best play in each situation.
Yeah.
That way your team won't get lax. Even though this is a game where they have a huge lead, they can still use it for practice.
Absolutely. Think about Coast versus TSM yesterday. Coast was like, yeah, we were winning so hard and we tried so hard not to throw that we started letting him get back into the game.
Exactly.
It was like, hey, we should probably not have done that either. So you gotta take enough risks to keep yourself going forward. ManCloud looks for the flank onto Cruiser. They're gonna spot this one. Slow lands. He does have flash. He can get over the wall if he wants to. He can put down a pillar as well. Just takes the flash. He's safe.
Well, there are other members of XDG like NickWoo and Smithy that could cut him off, but they're just recalling because Dignitas are pushing right towards base.
They trade a flash for a secondary turret. Fairly worthwhile. Flash comes back. Turrets do not. Dignitas now look for this bottom lane. They're going to regroup with the team here. They've got 4. Trundle coming across. Barrel comes out. Damage pretty fast onto this turret. Down to half. There's the ulti.
Here we go.
Fibertop's going to come through. Cyclone's going to come through. Knocks up QtPie and stops the culling. Who's going to take the damage? Cruiser in the front line. Smithy on the back. Jumped in by Crumbs. Will he stay alive, though? Yes, Lulu's going to make that happen. And they find a 1-for-0. They out-tank the lineup. Cruiser has like 12 health and gets out. Same for NickWoo.
XDG on the rise. They finally get a counterplay, but it's only 1 kill. They can't take any objective because all the lanes are shuffling. It's a huge win for them, though, because any sort of trade where they come out ahead is big at this point.
Well, any game that would have double F tier would consider this an objective. Minions are going down and being picked up by XDG. So as far as that's concerned, there's at least some gold coming through. We'll see the, unfortunately, 0-3-1 Benny finally getting an assist on himself here. And ManCloud has all the kills right now on Lulu of all champions. Not normally the one you'd see getting a killing blow, but a lot of gold going to be funneled on him because of his performance in team fights.
And I like that he's going towards a Lich Bane, because buying a Lich Bane is basically an artificial boost to your late game. You're adding another AP scaling onto the champion.
Yep.
So it's a very good buy towards the end game. And Lulu, since he's already trying to use as many auto attacks as possible, he should be accustomed to already weaving those into his spell rotation.
Yeah. Like the basic Little Lance cooldown is only 7, so with like decent CDR, you're putting that down to like 5 or so. And the internal like Sheen cooldown trigger is, I believe, 2 seconds. It's 2 or 3. So you're getting like a 0.75 AP ratio, which is pretty high for an offensive spell, and you're getting it often. It is a very good sort of general nuke to add there to the kit. He's only the recipe away from getting that item.
Now, looking towards the next step for XDG, since they got the first step of their comeback going here with 1 kill, the next step is trying to retain vision around Baron without dying. They could pick someone off, and Kiwi Kid getting chased.
Gets the stun, gets the flash, does not land his Eclipse shield though, so that time's out. But he gets away, just burning the summoner.
Dig are playing pretty risky here. Everyone's spread out. They haven't grouped up with their giant lead. Everyone is pushing different lanes here.
You know, last game we had was exactly like this, XDG versus Dig. In fact, Scar was even on Gragas. And Cutie Pie, I believe, was actually on Lucian as well, where they were like, man, we have a really big lead. Then they stopped finding ways to push XDG in. They're just up on different sides now, that's all.
Don't give up hope on XDG yet. They still... ManCloud looking to kill Cutie Pie.
Good damage, and the knock-up's going to stop the cooling, but I feel like ManCloud doesn't have the durability to win this fight. Misses the Glitter Lance, and Cutie Pie wins the fight.
You could see his reaction there, too.
Wow, gigantic trade in the mid lane, though. 2 for 2 right there, and the top lane cruiser solos away the opponent.
So Dig do break into the base because Cutie Pie was able to come out on top in that duel, and multiple duels across the other lanes as well, going in Dignitas' favor, even though they dropped 2 members, rewarded with the inhibitor. That's going to be a really big boon for them.
That's going to help a little bit.
It's so much easier ending the game here. Nikwu, as we said, he doesn't have much health. Scar is able to chunk him down from afar. And man, Crumbs had been chasing just more targets for Scar. Chased over to him from Crumbs there.
Yep, so XDG not in the best spot of this one now. Mid lane turret under fire. Even in a 4 versus 5, actually 3 versus 5 at this point, they still get the inhibitor turret.
Trying to chase him out of the base. Very, very tough for XDG at this point. They might consider a bush gank with 5 people, hoping to catch a stray member of Dignitas and get into position for a Baron Seal, because they absolutely have to have something like that to turn this.
See what they can find. Blue Elixir popped by ManCloud. Same for Skara here. These guys do chug elixirs when they think big fights are coming soon. They're worth roughly, I believe, 4 times their gold in stats. So generally speaking,
because
grab an elixir. Because they're timed. Yeah, they're short duration. But if you buy 4 elixirs throughout the game, you basically went equal. If you buy less than that, you're just kind of throwing free stats away.
I pretty much like to always purchase blue elixirs post death cap, because you get even more out of it after that. The extra bonus definitely helping out and makes it feel like extremely cost effective. Plus, you know, getting him to that CDR, is exactly what he wants.
You know, interesting note on Blue Elixir. The last time I saw one that I thought was really interesting, a while back when Dan Din was playing competitively, he would go Blue Elixir on Rammus over Red Elixir, because he said the 10 CDR for more ball curls was worth more than the health on a Red Elixir, and that would be his defensive elixir of choice.
Yeah, it depends on what items you have. Dan definitely has a lot of interesting ideas that he likes to try out way before other people.
Yep.
He's definitely an innovator from North America.
Back when Rally was a spell, and it was like significantly overpowered, he would bring Nunu into games, be like, I'll just consume in team fights, and we'll just like win hardcore because you won't have Rally.
He was one of the first to use Nunu in competitive games too.
True.
He's on the receiving end of that.
And Heimerdinger. Old Heimerdinger.
Okay, so the bush gank actually being set up by Dig here. This just seems mean. They're using the vision advantage around Baron.
Ooh, they don't hit much.
They hit the clone.
And a spell shield.
Wu. All right, On the Hunt has been popped as well. XDG looking
they're going
to make
mid?
a move here. They've got minion wave at the turret, but they've at such a severe gold disadvantage this would be an even 5v5 fight. No Sivir ulti available, even though Leona is down. That's a really big cooldown there for XDG. And the pillar chase. Nick Wu
much more. Crumbs has the Q charge. Ulti. Not going to go in. Box comes through. Dig goes around the left-hand side.
More
Ascension used as well.
Nope.
All the engaged tools. Well, more of them getting down. Uh-oh. Thresh, you're on the wrong side of this. You don't even have flash. Zuna has nowhere to go.
He's getting chased down here.
Great pillar. There's a jump on in. Zuna going to be going down with this one. Split up from the team. Not the best choice.
Crumbs with the discipline to hold on to his ult that entire time, too.
Yeah, why not?
So they still have the Vi ulti for this 5 vs 4 Nexus turret assault.
Oh, the 13,500 gold. It's going to be inhibitor picked up. Crumbs getting the credit for that one. 2, 2, and 6 with a fully offensive build. Lizard Elder Brutalizer Triforce. Mancloud barely lives through that one with a couple hundred HP. Dig are well in control here.
All right, they want to get the Baron off the map. If they can get Baron off the map, then there's nowhere for XDG to steal it from, and they can't let this one flip around.
Going to be culling used right there. Pretty good damage coming out from PewDiePie. He's actually waiting around in the wings. I think he missed his E over the wall.
Vengeance
sure that's why he's
for
there.
Dignitas.
All right, they got it.
Took him down.
Baron goes down. Dig even farther ahead to the 3 dragons as well. I guess dragons would count as part of a perfect game, so that was actually broken a while ago. But, oh well, it's worth a thought. XDG now very much on the defensive. Crumb's going to solo away Dragon as well. He does like oh my god, look at the damage he deals. Like, watch the next E.
Well, he's built full damage. This is a Crumbs that got going that well in the early game.
Yeah.
Should not hesitate to build all damage. You know, he's definitely a big fan of that. He also is a huge component of full damage on champions like Wukong. So not surprised to see him go with that. He likes the GA, and what was the other item? I think just tabbies and GA, he said, makes anyone a tank. Yeah, exactly. It was like, yeah, anyone could be a tank. All you need is an extra life.
And your opponents have a really slow game where they don't have many items yet.
He's big on snowballing games.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever Crumbs gets behind in the early game, then they do pretty much the whole team suffers. I don't know about the shot calling from behind. I think that might be one of the things they're working on. As soon as he gets ahead, though, it turns into games like this, though.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive game here from Dignitas.
So Crumbs pushes out the bottom lane here. 60,000 gold even right about now for Dignitas. And they look now for this push.
Lich Bane completed on Lulu.
Yep, that's going to be a whole lot of pain coming through.
Well, a little bit.
Well, more than before. If there's any Liches there, they're going to have a really hard time.
Scar on Gragas, though, is massive.
Yes.
He's got the main 3 items, plus the Elixir and blue buff.
Okay, here we go. Inhibitor taking a bunch of damage. No way this gets defended there by XDG. Baron still on for 2 minutes here. Or they can toss now with a backdoor top. Will they wait around in the mid lane? See what they move to. Looks like they're going to go for the top lane, actually.
Yeah, they have been playing this game real safe.
Yeah.
You know, taking the Baron, taking every single lane first. So I'm not surprised to see them go for the 3rd inhibitor as well. Once that is down, it's a complete dominant win here. But they are taking a long time because of they jumped out to such an early lead. So.
Well, here we go. Mid lane still, it requires like a team effort by XDG to sweep them away successfully. And now the top lane is under fire. 2 inhibs are dead. It's going to be super minions flooding in 2 every 30 seconds. Top lane the focus. There's a minion wave here. And about 3 waves left of Baron buff. Mancloud forced to cut away from the culling. PewDiePie not getting a ton out of that one. And now a couple of cash minions to make this turret take some damage.
Cruiser is definitely in a position to tank this turret too. Not only does he have Sunfire, Randu, and Tabby, but he can also steal more armor. So if they need a point man, he's definitely there and up for the task.
And Dignitas are being really gun-shy about this sort of push. They're waiting for someone to pull back and defend the Nexus before they even push here.
The super minions are going to do their work eventually. So they don't have to rush anything. As we said, Dignitas, they're playing this game cautiously. They want to end their losing streak with a big win. And winning this way, winning so convincingly, will do a lot for their confidence moving into the next games.
See if they can keep it going next week here. Looks like the push is going on, and Cruiser into the front lines. And here goes Nick Wu. 3-man knock away to the back line. Still chasing PewDiePie, forced to run away. And Benny, massive in the front as well. Mancloud getting away with low health. But Smith getting jumped on, goes down to a shot from PewDiePie. 1-0 so far. Nick Wu very low on health, but the fight's still continuing. Turret goes down. Last inhibitor about to fall. Crumbs pops his GA.
Somebody help him!
Too much.
Somebody help him!
Uh-oh, Crumbs, not enough of a tank. It's a 1-for-1 battle, but the base now in shambles. Dignitas 4 versus 4, trying to push on through.
After all Crumbs did for them early game, they just abandoned him. And they take the inhibitor themselves. All 3 inhibitors down, though. Dignitas still in the base. Well, they can just stay here.
Yeah, Super Minions kind of acting as a 5th member now. Dignitas looking to push in, close out this game. Nick Wu in the front lines, pops a decoy, takes a stun for it. Pillar comes out now, 1 Nexus turret dead. Dignitas now, 15 seconds of 4 versus 4. Other turret's going to be going down right about now. Forced to back up. Benny still holding on to the front lines. Nick Wu looking for his way in as well. No Cyclone, looks for Cutie Pie, doesn't find it. Knock up there from Lulu comes in. Mancloud again forced away, and Skara put the damage across. Zuna in the front lines. Benny forced to run away. The damage is coming through. 1 kill picked up. Now another one almost on the Nick Wu. Kiwi Kid forced away. And these guys are honestly just trading blows back and forth. Still 4 members alive. Mancloud looks for a bit, can't quite get Cutie Pie. And XDG hold.
Great hold from XDG. You got to give them credit. They were able to save that Nexus turret with 1 hit left on it.
Yeah. Skara's going to grab blue buff, though. He's like, hey, if you can't get your base, we'll get your minions.
Yeah, he returns to the rest of the Rift. I definitely just expect Dignitas to walk back in with a full triple wave of super minions and march on the Nexus.
Yeah. So did you know?
Yeah.
When you kill 1 inhibitor, you get 1 super minion. When you kill 2 inhibitors, you get 2 super minions. And then when you kill 3 inhibitors, you get 6. So you triple the number of minions, super minions, when you kill the last inhibitor.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people, when you get the 3rd inhibitor down, they consider that you know, there's no possibility of coming back. However, we've seen it happen before.
We have.
It's very rare, but it is doable.
We've all been in one of those games where you're like, man, I can't believe you held that. Like, we had all the inhibitors dead. We had like 1 turret. Second, did you know super minions, 70% damage and 70 armor MR aura affects fellow super minions?
I did.
Yeah,
they become
so they get scary.
Super minions.
Super duper minions.
There you go. All right, another inhibitor is up. Dignitas looking to increase their building destruction numbers and take down another one.
Building destructions, good score right there. They only got 10 turrets, and Hibs don't count in the score right up there. Nick Wu goes in, finds the ulti, knock up onto Scar. The dive's still coming through. Are they going to find much with this one? Nick Wu very low on health, gets pulled. Ooh. That's a 1 for 0 so far. Now the chase in towards the backline of XDG. Benny low on health, picked up their Cutie Pie. Double kill so far. Chasing in, gets Zuna for the triple kill. Going to be another kill on the other side by Scar. This will be the game, 18-5. And in 38 minutes, Dignitas take down XDG.
Looks like business as usual there for Dig.
They were ahead so long.
I mean, yeah, they've kind of gotten accustomed to the fact that they were winning that game. It's not surprising for them. So they're definitely happy about it, and they've definitely been able to break the losing streak. That's huge for the team.
Yeah, finally put themselves back in this one. Started 0-2, then went 6-2, and then added 5 losses on top of that one. New win coming in here. So Dignitas, I guess they got like 5 wins in a row now in front of them. He's got to go in a giant swing again right here. Crowd, of course, cheering for their favorite players. These guys smiles. But that's just, part of that's just Kiwi Kid. He's always smiling, but that win helped with that one.